Kendall, or Noimnot, is widely regarded as the best Ruby Amethyst Lorcana player in the world. He's also my coach, and while I was training for the Set 5 champs, he graciously agreed to critique my top 64 match in Las Vegas. Kendall gives a masterclass in how to play Red Purple, and I'd like to pass that information on to you all. So, if you want to improve your Lorcana skills, understand the Ruby Am deck better, and get inside the head of a true master of the game, then please enjoy a free 45-minute masterclass with me and Kendall Burdett. Woo! I didn't know how to transition that better. Yeah.
Turnabog, 2 brooms, Sisu, Brawl, Maui, and this looks like 2 snakes maybe.
Yeah, I had a snake. I had a couple snakes. So I had the dream, like almost the dream basically. Minus the rabbit, I feel.
Okay, so I think we can probably safely just ink a broom and play a broom here first. You can ink Chernabog is also perfectly reasonable. Inking one of the 1-drops to play broom. The reason we can play broom, right, is we can attack into Daisy and then bounce it with snake.
That was exactly my thought, and that's exactly what happens.
Yep. I mean, that's great. This is like really good start, obviously. Yeah, we got a Flynn Rider.
So I drew into the rabbit, yeah.
Think. Oh, and you also have Fox. So it is important too, like it is good. I mean, we're going to be bouncing the 1-drop as well, but I think you did keep this in mind. So this was props to you that you didn't immediately start inking all of your 1-drops because this opens up 1-drop into Fox on turn 4.
Yep,
right?
that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, so inking the Flynn is fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. And then we attack, play a snake. No, that's obviously threatens okay if she wants to attack with that Daisy again, then it's gonna get eaten by the snake.
The judge came up right after this and was like, hey, you guys got to pick up your speed of play too. So I think that I might have almost rushed a little bit on the next turn.
It was so early. I remember in my game too, like at first I started off like pretty slow. It was just so early in the morning. I was still tired, dude.
Yeah, I know. My brain was like, ugh.
One thing I want to say is that this does obviously look like bait. Biggest tell for this is that she didn't even quest with this Daisy, right?
Yep.
Because I mean, yeah, she didn't even quest with this Daisy if it was not anything like threatening with Snake. This is clearly she wants you to attack with this, so that this can attack back with this, and then Rapunzel. And this is still very like this like still gets to quest for 5 at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have been a little skeptical. And this is only 1 lore. So it might be fine to still just set up here. And right, like this is 1 lore.
Yeah.
This is saving 1 lore versus the 3 extra cards, because now she has 2 cards in her hand, right? Rapunzel and Kit.
Exactly. And I just didn't think about the Rapunzel. I forgot the Rapunzel existed, and that was like the big one right here. This was one of 2 big mistakes in my opinion.
Now, she does get the option, so let's say like what your options are here is don't attack that thing, and then you get to play Inca 1-drop and play Sisu.
I figured the Sisu was going to be worth a little bit less just because her hand was so low. And then what I did was I brawl the piglet so that she can't just get 3 lore.
Yeah. And so she does have a good amount of kits as well. So like Kit, because her hand is so low, she could probably actually like draw ink, play Kit, and I think that bounces the Sisu because she would only have 1 card in her hand.
Yeah, exactly.
So Sisu would be 2 power. So even brawling here would be good. I would just brawl the piglet to save the most amount of lore. And then what this does is now if she quests all out, like we still have one drop into Fox the following turn as well.
Yeah.
And you're only saving like the one lore here. So yeah, I might have played around the Rapunzel here for sure.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that she played 4.
And especially seeing the queen, like it's something didn't feel right, but I was like, but do I what is she gonna do? I just totally forgot that the Rapunzel existed, and I was starting to feel like, I think a judge might have come up right here and said, hey, you gotta. I remember the judge came in early though. But yeah, if I just leave this Madam Mim Snake here up, I think I maybe win the game.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you can still win the game even from this.
I agree. I agree.
There's other things coming up that I think.
The next turn is where I really, really mess up because now she plays the queen, the big queen. Or no. That's the turn after.
Inking the Flynn again is probably okay. I'm wondering, depending on how many 1-drops we have in our hand.
I have another one drop for sure.
Yeah, so yeah, keeping the Flynn here is fine because turn 3 we can do something like play Flynn, play Sisu,
Yep.
if we want to. But yeah, just keeping a 1-drop back in our hand is okay. So not perfectly fine. I think it's correct not inking the Flynn first. So
And that was why I was happy that I kept the broom. I was like, oh, hell yeah. Glad I remembered.
hmm yeah, like I mean, you see her hand here is still like not even that bad. It's like Daisy, Lilo, Ursula, Queen, Chernabog. So it's still, and like she's at like 5. So it's still not, it's still a very beatable hand.
Yeah.
Especially with what's in our hand, I think. Like having the Maui, we got rabbits and stuff to keep going.
Now she drops the queen down and quests the other two. Or maybe she doesn't quest the other two, but she quests at least the Rapunzel. And then I got baited into Mauiing the Rapunzel to deny that, and then she was able to trade the Daisy Duck with the
Mm.
Maui after the queen play, after the queen quest next turn.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. I think like even that's still okay though, because she's not questing. She's not questing with the Daisy. Well, like we'll see. We'll continue to watch here. Because I mean, how else are you getting? You don't have another option to get rid of this Rapunzel quite yet. So
Yeah. But then with the queen on board with the Daisy, I miscalculated and didn't realize that she basically gets to quest her queen, give Daisy +3 attack, -3 attack from Maui, and then trade the Daisy for the Maui scot free. So that was another play that made me go, oh my god, what am I doing? But I think I still maintained composure well and was like, nah, this is still winnable. It definitely felt winnable the whole time, up until even the very end here.
yeah, I would still link a broom here because even like turn 6 we can go rabbit plus Flynn
Yeah.
as well. Um, so yeah, we still have another 1-drop. We don't need all of these 1-drops. I still think you need to. I would play the Maui here because you.
Really? You don't think that it's a mistake,
Well,
even though I know on the board that she can wipe out my Maui next turn with her Daisy Duck and not even destroy the Daisy?
I mean, she's gonna just quest for 6 the following turn.
That's true.
You got to quest for 2 and then quest for 6. So then the Rapunzel got 3 cards and 4 lore.
That's a good point. Okay,
Right?
so it wasn't as
Well,
big a
so what I'm
mistake.
saying is it's not that big. Like now, instead of questing for 6 next turn, when you Maui this, she only gets to quest for 2 and spends the Daisy Duck attacking into Maui. Which we still have the fox in play, right? So then the fox can now take out either Daisy. Well, yeah, I guess take out Daisy and still live, or we get to trade with the queen. So you got to think about the following turn as well. Like, yes, you might think you misplayed because this lets queen trade the Daisy into the Maui, but you got to think about like now she's at 7. Like if she quests for 6, goes up to 13 with the next things. Now she's only questing for 2,
Cool. Okay. Okay. Well,
right?
that's good. That I thought was a
No,
major mistake just because I didn't
no, I don't
calculate it
think
right.
that was a misplay. I mean, the Rapunzel thing kind of was the start of a snowball, but like this part was not a misplay. I think it might be further into the game. So this is +4 -4, so it only deals 1. So like, but see now like she only quested for 2, and we still have the option here to attack Fox into Daisy and still have the Fox in play, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or we trade with the Queen.
Yeah, I think I just trade with the queen.
It really depends.
And then when she goes this wide, I then Rabbit and Flynn, so I can go wide and get some card draw too.
So, okay, good, because I was
Yep.
about to say.
Yep. I heard you in my head right there.
Yeah,
Right before
yeah.
I put the broom down.
It doesn't matter. It looks like you're gonna ink Broom, but again, it doesn't matter. Like, making good habits here.
Yep. 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 Yep.
I almost kind of prefer to ink Sisu than this Broom now because again, like she's low on cards, and I kind of want to use the Broom to start cycling into like Medusas and stuff. Now, this was the interesting attack, the trade here. This is the same amount of lore, right? Like you agree these both quests for 2,
Mm-hmm.
right? Leaving this in play with 3 damage when she plays 4 Rapunzels. If she just gets to play a Rapunzel this turn and draw 3 cards and then quest out, and then we have to be prepared still. Because she's down to 2 cards, right? So like
Oh.
leaving this in play for Rapunzel, I think was a mistake. So I think attacking Fox into Daisy, um, to leave the Fox in play as well for the following turn, because if we play Flynn plus Flynn plus Rabbit, and we have the Fox in play, if she just quests all out, there's a chance we can just like trade our whole board and not even have to be prepared, right? By leaving the Fox in play, the Fox gets to go again. So a couple reasons. 1, Rapunzel. 2, if she does the same play again, where quest with Queen and then minus the Fox and like attack into here,
Yeah.
again, that's saving us 2 lore, especially when we're going to be prepared the next turn, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
I think when they're, especially when they're low on cards and we're getting ready to be prepared, these both quest for the same value. I like leaving the Fox in play to threaten challenging another character, getting rid
Okay.
of the 3 damage so she can't Rapunzel, because if she plays another Rapunzel when she's this low on cards, then we almost assuredly lose the game when she gets to gas back up 3 more cards. And then again, the other option is leaving the Queen in play. Now you give her the option, because if you're going in to be prepared, she's more inclined to just quest all out if you're going to be prepared. But if you give her the option, she might take the, this is saving us 2 more lore if she decides to minus your Fox and attack something into it instead. It's pretty obvious, like just slam sideways, but do the daisies one by one and get the information first,
Yeah.
right? On stuff. I don't know. More than likely you're questing all out, but just good practice here doing it one by one, get the information.
I was super afraid of that Clarabelle also, which
The big Clarabelle.
yeah, the big Clarabelle might be coming up. So I was like, shoot, it's probably close to a whole new world ideal where I want to have a hand that's kind of similar to theirs. So I wasn't quite sure the exact thing, but that was in the back of my head.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't quite look at the list too much. Does she have? Oh, she had 4 of the big
Four of the
Clarabelle.
bigs, and then a couple of the small, like 4 of the small, and
Yeah,
then
so
2 of the
you're like
medium.
incentivized to try to play kind of low on cards as well. But this might even be a spot though where, depending on what she does, she can't overextend into be prepared, but also we can almost, if she doesn't play anything, like we might not even have to. Yeah,
That's
like we don't.
exactly what I do. I'm so happy that you said that. I don't use Be Prepared this turn. I literally
Yeah.
wipe her board with the combo of everything, and
Oh,
I get
because
the
you drew
3 lore here.
Fox.
Yep.
Yeah, so you drew Fox, so perfect. Um, yeah, so this is like best case scenario because she's having to play around be prepared, but we can answer this whole board.
Yeah, when this
Um,
happened, I was like, "Oh my god, this is winnable now."
yeah, this is why I think like the game was winnable because at this point she had to like skip, and we still had be prepared. So, um,
I feel like she also made a misplay because if she'd played the queen, she would have denied me 3 lore off the Flynn. But I guess it was not a misplay because very smartly she kept something low that she would be able to put out with Chernobog in case I tremained.
oh, I think you misplay this turn. Um,
I ink this friends on the other side,
yeah, yeah,
and
but
that
you don't
is
have to.
I know, and that was me thinking about the Clarabelle, and I felt stupid afterwards watching this
You
back.
thought about the Clarabelle, but yeah, so think about what we're doing on board here. Like, okay, I have Fox and we can clear the board out. So what does clearing the board mean? That means, well, we're going to be bouncing the rabbit with Fox, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if you're worried about Clarabelle, I guess you could bounce the Flynn Rider and like replay Flynn Rider, but we should just bounce. Mm, maybe if you play around Clarabelle, I can see bouncing the Flynn Rider.
Yeah.
So, uh, but regardless, if you're worried about Clarabelle still here, the first thing we should do is start clearing the board before we even need to ink. Like see what our, you know, yes, we want to play around Clarabelle, but there's also a chance where we can sing friends the next turn and then empty our hand out more, right?
Okay.
Um, so a couple options like Rabbit attacks Daisy, Flynn attacks Lilo, and then we're gonna bounce either Rabbit to draw a card first, and then like the fox is going to go into Daisy. Now, what does the rest of our hand look like? Because we're going into turn 7. So we have 3. Um, so we can like ink Snake, and then because we have 7 ink, so 3 for the fox, we have 4 ink remaining. So I still like bouncing the rabbit because it's just a lot cleaner on ink here, and we leave the Flynn in play because what I would do is I'd probably ink Snake. I would Well, okay, I wouldn't ink snake here first. First, I would,
Attack, attack.
challenge with the rabbit and
Yep.
bounce and see what we draw. But ultimately, with my 7 ink, I'm gonna play Sisu plus 1 drop plus Fox to get to lower my hand some more. And our board is gonna be Flynn Rider, Sisu, Fox, 1 drop.
Cool.
Um, this lets us, if we have to be prepared the following turn, we get to like sing friends with Fox, quest with Sisu, quest with
Yep.
Flynn Rider, quest with the Chernobog, draw a card, and then be prepared the board as well. So yeah, immediately inking this.
Yep.
Bad sequencing. But it is good on you for not pulling the trigger on be prepared. Yeah, I would still bounce the rabbit.
Yep.
We drew a Tremaine, so it ended up not mattering, but I still think that potentially I would have inked the snake. But again, if we're worried about Sisu or Clarabelle here, like we can play 1 drop plus Sisu. And you did that. So good. I just think that we didn't necessarily have to ink the friends, but
Yeah, that felt like a small mistake.
I don't know what she was doing here. Was she asking if
If she
she
could
had to
take
ink
that
that
back,
after she already inked it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then
Yeah, I figured. I was like, she probably wishes she wanted to keep it instead. Um, but yeah, see, like, because she's gonna get to play the 1 cost and we don't have an answer, like, and we have to be prepared this board maybe, I would have much rather had the friends in our hand this turn because we get to sing friends before playing be prepared to just have more answers at that point, right? Because like she just has 1 card in hand and it's the big Pegasus. So like if her follow up is 1 character, oh, so we drew another friends.
and now
Uh,
I think I Now
But
I played
I
the
still, even at 15, I still feel really good here, like with just one card in hand. And I mean, we know it's not Clarabelle watching the match. Maybe it's different, right? Because in your head, you saw if you're thinking about 4 Clarabelles. Um,
yeah, I was afraid that she was getting up to 7.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a world where I don't go super ham and just draw a bunch of cards. Because we do have like Tremaine and Bounce Tremaine or something.
Yeah, but that's what
But
happens. I
but
ink
see,
the snake.
so you are tanking here though, and it might be difficult. You're like, geez, what do I do, right? So you can be a little quicker here because we know that like if we know that we're gonna be prepared,
Mm-hmm.
immediately you're like, okay, you see your hand. You don't have an answer for this Turnabog, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know Tremaine's not gonna cut it because she has Queen. But I think you're getting so caught up in what's in your hand here, but we still have more information we can get, right? Like you're gonna crack this Chernobog for a card. So do that first.
I don't. I
You
quest
don't.
everybody first, and then I pop the Chernabog.
Mm, yeah. Quest the Chernobog first and draw a card.
Yep.
Because you're like, geez, what do I do with this hand? Well, you still have one more card that you don't even know. That's why you don't know what to do with your hand, because
Yep.
you still have the Chernobog, right? Yeah, so you're like, okay, I'm gonna draw a card. Alright, well, I don't know what you drew. What'd you draw? Did you draw the? Oh, you drew a broom.
I think a
I
broom
think
and a
it's important to
friend.
keep the bounce at this point though, because we're up
Yep.
to 8 ink, so we can play Tremaine plus bounce.
And that's the next mistake that I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, having access to bounce because now when she's super low on cards, either bounce Tremaine or if we draw Medusa, like bouncing Medusa is how you're gonna start winning this game.
Yep.
To be answering the one card she plays a turn. Um,
Oh, I
did
guess
you
it
have a
wasn't.
one drop in your
It
hand,
wasn't a broom. Yeah, if I had a 1-drop, I would have played it.
or was that? No, that was 8 ink, and you tapped their last ink for some reason. Oh, was that a crab?
Yeah, it's a crab.
Oh, I would have just inked the crab though.
This is where I Tremaine, and then
Yeah, but what is so what like again? What is your? Okay, you're gonna play friends first, maybe.
nope.
No, I think you ink crab and play friends here.
Yeah.
Which again, we should have played friends first, right? You know you're gonna have
Yep.
9 ink this turn if you're gonna play the Tremaine. But you can play friends first. Let's say, oh, if we draw Medusa, maybe you want a Medusa instead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of playing Tremaine. Oh, look at that. You drew Medusa and Sisu. So I think you still probably either ink Crab or the Sisu. Probably, yeah, you would just ink the Crab, but you would get to Medusa this turn instead. It depends because like if you got to Medusa, what do you target? Because I think you still might have to. You'd be worried about Shift Clarabelle, but she also has Shift Pegasus. The shifting Clarabelle is like worst case because she gets to draw a bunch of cards off of that too, rather than just play Clarabelle. I don't think we're quite out of the woods yet,
Yeah.
so I still feel like we need to be drawing into bounce spells. So my play, like I'm not gonna play Castle plus Medusa this turn.
That's
Like I'm gonna
exactly
play
what I do.
I'm gonna play Rabbit Medusa because again, like we need to like be drawing into either be prepared or like more bounce spells for Medusa. Okay.
Yep.
Because like she is at a high lore total, we're not like completely out of the woods. So the castle would be better next turn when we can play castle plus like put a couple things into it. Just playing the castle out when we know we're gonna have to potentially answer stuff on the next turn as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, I think I remember you talked to me about this play. I would target the Pegasus here.
because of the shift line. Yeah,
Yeah,
I realized it
I know. I
afterwards.
I know shifting here. Well, so I know like you're worried about the two lore.
Yep,
She does get to shift quest to 18 and then be like, okay, you have to have an answer for Pegasus now, right?
yep,
But if you hit the Pegasus, she can only get two lore no matter what out of Lilo, but we can challenge the Lilo.
yeah. That's what I
Um,
realized afterwards, and I was really
yeah,
upset at myself because it felt like it was still winnable. And then I realized
yeah. This is. I think
afterwards.
this is. I think so. I think this is still winnable. This was still winnable, right? Even up to this point. Like it's these small things. Like you would win this game by very small margins.
Yeah,
Um, so even still, I think it was winnable up until this point. Hitting the Pegasus. That way, if she quests with Lilo, we get to challenge the Lilo. If you think a couple turns back, having the snake for whatever she played the next turn, like we get to challenge the Lilo, then bounce our Medusa or Tremaine, and like hit that as well, right?
yeah. I mean, I actually was counting, and she had inked two of her three Pegasus.
Mm.
So my thought was, okay, what are the chances that she actually still has the last Pegasus? But it because she had the last Pegasus anyway, it was all moot because then she would just play down the Pegasus, give the Lilo evasive afterwards. So I realized afterwards there really was nothing I could have done, but it was definitely the better play.
You're still kind of dead to even like a two quester, like cause she could quest for 17 here. She could even just quest to 17 and then play Pegasus, right? And then
Yep,
like that still threatens three the following turn. So really it came down to you needed to have an answer. So being able to challenge the Lilo and then like inking the snake 2 turns ago to be able to bounce this. Like
yep.
even think if we had even if we had a bounce spell here, because now we would be able to like quest bounce and put stuff into the castle.
Exactly. Inking the snake, I realized after watching, I was like, oh my God, what was I thinking? I inked the friends at the wrong point, and then I inked the snake at the worst point, too.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yep.
and this is a reason too why I would have preferred to just I would have preferred to play the rabbits instead of the castles because in my head I'm thinking, okay, I need to draw bounce spells for either one of these to be able to hit one of to be able to control the board because
Yep.
you still have to answer everything each turn.
And then I just concede here. But and then next game it's pretty cut and dry. She gets the double piglets. She gets the draw, and then I at a certain point I have like 4 or 5 uninkables in my hand, and I have to skip inking on like turn 5 or something. But what I'm super curious about this game is the mulligan right here
Yeah, I
because
saw I watched this in your video.
I
She
have
didn't have the one
everything.
drop.
Yeah. And I was like, do I go for it and just say I have the perfect hand, keep the snake, keep the fox, keep the rabbit, keep the brawl, mulligan 3, and just pray? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think I
Mm-mm.
can just pray at that point because if I don't hit a one drop, then I don't have anything.
No, what is this? What are these? Goats?
Yeah, keep it
Oh,
playing
let's see.
here. Yeah,
Goat.
double goat. I think a castle and a
Oh,
goat.
goat castle. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So snake,
snake,
fox, brawl,
fox,
rabbit.
goat, castle friends.
Yep. And I thought, oh,
Uh, and I'm on the draw. I would keep brawl and fox.
oh,
And
interesting.
I would mulligan 5.
I mulliganed 6 and kept the brawl.
Yeah, that's also reasonable. I think we're on the draw. We also have 2 drops that we can bounce with fox, but fox is just so good in the matchup that yes, we want to try to hit the 1 drop. Like Fox is great in the matchup. So you were close, but like good on you for mulliganing the rest of these. Like I don't fault you for mulliganing the Fox, but I would keep the Fox because it's just again like it answers Daisy Duck and like if we hit the 1 drop, our hand just is fully unlocked at that point. But good on you for mulliganing the rest of the stuff.
Man.
Because like some of these are like traps I think that people might fall into. Like people still want like a rabbit on the draw against an aggro deck, way too slow. Same
Yeah.
thing with like friends. Like you recognize that you do need the 1 and 2 drops, so even getting rid of Friends, like Friends is still too slow on the draw against an aggro deck.
I even
Board
considered doing the four in the right of my hand, mulliganing the rabbit too, but that was like,
and
ugh.
keeping.
And then of course
So
I draw
you,
into 3/1 drops, so feels bad after the fact, but
yeah, I mean, the snake is like keeping Snake, Fox, and Brawl is a little risky. Uh, I, as long as we have a 1 drop, I think that's kind of fine. Um, as far as this, like the snake goes, but I would keep the Fox. So you were close on your mulligan for sure.
I'm glad. I remember at one point you had talked about not keeping Fox just in case you miss, but I didn't consider how good it would be in this matchup, so that's good to
Yeah,
know.
in this matchup, like let's say for instance, like if it's a mirror match, like I probably don't keep the Fox there, right? Like I'm looking more so for Flynn and Sisu. But Fox is just incredible against an aggro deck. So, you know, spiking on a 1 drop, like we're on the draw, so we get an additional draw step. We're mulliganing 5. Um, I think the upside is huge there for keeping Fox in her hand. Again, and at worst, it's sinkable, right? Like, let's say you don't hit the 1 or 2 drop, but at some point in the game, like it doesn't even have to be on turn 3. Like Fox is gonna be huge. Like even if you have to play it on turn 4, like let's say you don't have Maui, right? Like even playing it on turn 4 can be huge. So, oh, you get to be on the play. Sorry, because
Yeah.
you lost. Yeah, hit the 1 drop, Incan Castle. I didn't really see what the rest of our hand was. Okay. Be prepared. 2 brawls.
Chernabog, and I want to say
Is that a
Merlin
magic
Goat.
broom?
I think that's a Merlin, or no, that's a Magic Broom. I think.
Okay. Yeah, it's a broom.
Here I'm like, is it better to just get more people out and get the Magic Broom and the Chernabog out, and then I'm like, nah, let's get the let's get the snake.
Yeah, this one's close. I'd probably just play the snake.
And then on this third turn, I think that I brawl the Pegasus immediately because I'm like, I won't be able to interact with it. If she's able to shift it, then I'm in dire straits. But yeah, this one felt, yeah. I think I also now draw almost exclusively uninkables from here on out.
Draw Tremaine. Well, I would ink broom. It's probably very small. Like they probably both become ink. Think it is reasonable to hit the Pegasus, like you said, so that to turn off the shift line, you can't really interact with it up until Medusa. Um, if she plays double character here in Quest for 3 with Piglet, it's not the end of the world because Snake can eat it, right? Like
Yeah, that's
she's only
exactly
at
what she does.
she's only at 1.
I want to
So
say. Or wait, does she? Oh no, she doesn't.
uh,
Oh, right.
I think she probably just doesn't do anything. I mean, this is an interesting turn because we don't have like a great turn, right? It's kind of like, what should he do?
Yeah.
Um, think we, uh, I think we just brawl Piglet, but it's like, okay, what should you ink or something? Like you can brawl Piglet, ink Snake, play Broom, but then your hand is 2 cards and they're both uninkable. So if you don't draw a character or another inkable the following turn and cycle Broom, it's a little risky. So you could just brawl and like ink, brawl, ink Broom. I think it's brawl Piglet, ink Snake or ink Broom. Okay, so they go for the Broom. I see. So I like this a little less because like we didn't develop the board anymore. Like we just still have the snake in play, and we're letting her quest. Yeah, this is another thing too, is it kind of turns these Clarabelles off, right? I think you would have you'd have 3 cards in hand. I don't know how many cards you have in your hand right now. Need you another be prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that's one of the worst. So I'm like, dude, I got to stop the bleeding here. So I don't ink and I brawl the piglet. And I'm wondering if what you think of that play. I brawl the piglet and then I attack into the blue.
I brought this up before in our coaching sessions. I'm sure before I say this phrase all the time, like using your life total as a resource. She's still only at 5, so it's not super detrimental to like specifically brawl this turn. I would have
Oh,
definitely liked to have brawled the previous turn. Her being a little lower, I think you just take it on the chin one more time. You have to play the rabbit to try to draw an inkable to go ink and to be prepared, right?
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I, ultimately I think cycling the broom last turn, like we probably just use the broom as ink, don't cycle, and then we brawl the previous turn and keep her off of that. Uh, this would have got around a few things. Like one, she wouldn't be able to draw a card off Clarabelle. I don't think it saved Delore the previous turn.
Mm-hmm.
We're also now in this awkward situation, but yeah. Um, in this specific scenario here now, though, I would still play the rabbit. Because I mean, what that's gonna let us do is like we challenge the blue, and then like rabbit can threaten to challenge the piglet. Like at that point, we use our life total here as a resource because even if she quests, like we still have good trades, right? Like snake challenges Clarabelle, rabbit challenges piglet, and then like we get to brawl something else that she plays, essentially. Now shift Clarabelle is nightmare fuel as well.
Bro.
This is like, I mean, it again, like, so this is, like in a best 2 out of 3, like you chalk this up. Really, I don't want you to stay up at night, but like the game 1 I think was super winnable. So even if we lose the game here, we get another shot in game 3.
Yeah.
Especially because you were on that draw in that game, right? So like you still get to, you lose game 2, you still get to be on the play for game 3.
Buddy, I know it. Yeah, now she just stomps me with the Clarabelle. She goes wide, gets all the Clarabelle draw, and just, ugh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, once that second piglet comes down, I'm like, good game.
Did you quest for one?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a little not great because of Rapunzel.
Oh, yeah.
When she has a big cow in play. Like she still doesn't want to challenge with the cow because kind of drawing cards and doesn't want to lose it to Maui. I mean, at this point with this board, I would probably quest with it, but questing one with the snake and then like if they have a Rapunzel here, it puts them so far ahead as well. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I always forget about Rapunzel. It's a
That's
part
not
of
why
my
you.
game.
This is not why you lost the game, right? But I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is something to think about.
No, it's good to know.
Because had she had Rapunzel, even if she loses cow in the following trade, just she's already drawn cards off the cow, and playing Rapunzel to draw 3 because it hit into a snake is again huge, right? But for that reason, I still wouldn't quest here
Yeah.
because if we think we're gonna be prepared the following turn, I think you got 2 be prepared in your hand, so even if they Ursula one, right? But when you are gonna be prepared, you want to prevent them being able to get Rapunzel value. She snipes be prepared, you play second be prepared,
Yep. And then she,
and then you top deck be prepared.
yep. After she plays down the Chernabog and the Queen. Or no, she just plays the one Chernabog because she knows that my Tremaine is the only one. I knew it was over, but I was like, maybe
Oh
something
yeah,
cool will happen. And then it did. So,
good on her though, like thinking like, okay, literally the only way I can like. Were you only playing one Tremaine in this event?
yeah.
Okay, so she knew she didn't have to play around the Tremaine, so literally it's just like you need to have an answer for this Chernobog. So
Yep.
smart for not playing playing the other characters out too. Like here's
I
a
know. I watched back her play and I was like, my God, I don't know that she did anything other than inking that Simba by mistake, like, and
uh-huh.
then immediately realizing it. But other than that, like, and that was already
Hmm.
such a small moment. But you know what?
Yeah.
I say to myself, I would have never had this moment if if it had gone any other way.
Yeah, for sure.
So silver linings.
Your
Um,
Hollywood moment.
yeah, I know, dude. I got a lot of love off of it. It's been crazy.
This game
Okay.
was a little rough. I small misplays, but not like I don't think nothing like out of your control like game breaking. Um
Yeah, I don't think there's many scenarios where I'm taking this game with the way that she drew and it's just the way that I drew, especially after the mulliganing 6. But
yeah.
it's good to see the mistakes. Rapunzel, dude, I'm for forever and forever. I'm gonna remember not to do Snake.
Yeah. You can only get blown out by Rapunzel so many times probably before you finally learn. So don't let it
Oh,
keep happening for sure. But
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I think game one was definitely the takeaway there, right? Uh that's definitely a good one to go back and watch multiple times to even keep learning from or what we covered through here. Again, like I think game one was winnable. You had you were given multiple opportunities, I think, to win the game.
I know. Oh man, and I
Oh, I
just
mean, don't
yeah.
feel bad about it though. Like in the end, right? You day two'd your first challenge. It's great.
How do you deal with watching back your footage and seeing mistakes and understand and like knowing that you could have won the game? Because I'm sure it still happens at any level, but like, how do you deal with that, bro? I was getting so
I
steamed. What do you say to people who might be watching this and might have made mistakes in the tournament and it's keeping them up at night and, you know, this is their first TCG or, you know, this is close to their first TCG competitive? Like what advice do you have for people, I guess, that are tilting? Because I definitely spent a couple nights going, oh, that snake move cost me the game.
no, like I said, you have to take it as learning experiences. As long as you don't repeat the same mistakes, like, you know, learn from it, live and learn, like move on from it. It's okay to be upset, I guess, at the moment, but you're gonna like if you like this as a hobby, you're gonna play more games. So you have plenty of other chances to prove yourself again. Um, yeah, don't get too caught up on it.
I super
Yeah,
appreciate it.
go in a set champs. I'm not gonna play tomorrow. I'm going out of town. I'll play. I'm gonna try to play one on Sunday. We'll see.
Nice, nice. Good luck at that, man.
Yeah, let me know how you do as well.
I will. I'll walk away with the mat.
They're gonna be, and people are gonna be, they're gonna be in their own heads too. They're gonna be like, oh man, is that top 64 DLC Vegas competitor Brent Mukai?
Is that
Like,
is that same Brent Mukai who made that big Rapunzel display? They'll be like, dang, I should have put more Rapunzels in my deck. All right, brother. I don't want to keep you any longer. Thank you so much. I appreciate you going overtime here.
yeah, no problem. You have a good evening.
You too. All right.
All right,
Peace.
bye.